हेलो एवरीवन, जय हिंद, जय भारत, जय माता दी। वेलकम बैक टू आवर मर्चेंट नेवी डिकोडेड जॉब्स चैनल। रोज की तरह आज हियर अगेन वी आर विथ यू द लेटेस्ट जॉब ओपनिंग्स फॉर टुडेज डेट 27 टू 2025। सो विदाउट वेस्टिंग टाइम जानते हैं कि कौन कौन से जॉब ओपनिंग्स है फॉर एवरी रैंक इन मर्चेंट नेवी। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ आवर रेटिंग साइट्स. For ratings, there is an opening in NAS Maritime. They required able seamen and fitter for their Handymax bulk carrier experience. They are asking 9 to 18 month of rank experience on bulk carriers. So these are the job opening here for AB and fitter over here. Then Rayan Sea Management required chief cook for their bulk carrier, Panamax bulk carrier it is. Then Nimbus Marine Group required able seaman and chief cook for their crew boat vessel. Then Burkhan Shipping required able seaman for their offshore towing tug or anchor handling vessels. Then Ocean One Sea Management required able seaman for their oil tanker vessel. Ocean One Sea Management required second cook or fitter for their LNG vessels. Oil tanker expense is mandatory over here with gas DC. So if you have not sailed on LNG ships and want to switch, so there is an opening for you over here. Nimbus Marine Group required portion for their DP2 vessel. Location will be Mumbai High. AG Maritime required able seaman and oiler for their feeder container vessel. Relevant expenses required over here. And Atlantis Sea Management required AB oiler, engine feeder, pumpman or chief cook for their chemical tanker ships. They required 24 month of rank expense on the particular rank. So these are job openings for ratings today. For more such updates, what you have to do, you need to follow us on WhatsApp channel. But for applying for these vessels also, for applying for these job openings also, you need to go through our WhatsApp channel, Merchant Navy Job Updates. Just go through your WhatsApp, go through the Find Channel section. In the left column, just search there Merchant Navy Job Updates. On the first tab itself, our channel will come. Follow us by today for the regular latest updates for every rank. Let's move on to our next job opening for masters. So let's move on to our master job opening for masters. There is an opening in normal crewing service. They required master for their type 2 chemical tanker. Relevant expenses required over here. Then V ships required master for their offshore vessel. Then Nautilus Shipping India Private Limited required master for their NCV vessel. Then AG Maritime required master for their feeder container vessel. Relevant expenses mandatory over here. Atlantis Ship Management required master for their chemical tanker. Matrix will be for experience matrix will be 18 months. So they required 18 months of rank experience. So these are the job dates for today's date for master. Let's move to our next job opening for chief officers. For chief officers, let's see. V ships required chief officer for their offshore vessel, 24 month of rank experience, it is same. Then Andromeda Ownership Company required chief officer for their Aframax tanker, 12 to 18 month of rank experience as a chief officer is mandatory over here for applying your CV. Blue Fortune Ship Management required chief officer for their oil tanker ship experience is mandatory over here. Joining that will be very soon. Atlantis Ship Management required chief officer for their chemical tanker ships. Matrix, rank matrix they are asking is 18 months. So these are job openings for chief officer today. Let's move to the next job opening, that is for ETO. For ETO, there is an opening in normal crewing service. They required ETO for their type 2 chemical tanker. Relevant expense they are asking. PIL, Pacific International Line India Private Limited, they required ETO for their container vessel. Minimum 6 months with COC. With ETO COC they are asking. Then Synergy Maritime Recruitment Service Private Limited needed ETO for their oil and chemical tanker. 25 plus month of rank expenses mandatory here with USC1D visa. Joining date will be March. So urgent opening it is. VR Maritime required electro-technical officer for their very large gas carrier ship. Rank expenses required over here. AZ Maritime required ETO for their feeder container vessel. Relevant expenses mandatory over here. Then Atlantis Ship Management required ETO for their chemical tanker ships, which is newly built. Yard delivery it will be minimum 24 month of rank expense they are asking. So these are the job openings for ETO today. And if you have not subscribed our channel yet, so subscribe us by today for latest job opening at 12 AM by every day. The latest job opening. So let's move on to the next job opening for second officer. Let's call the job opening for second officer today. V Group required second officer for their offshore vessel. Minimum 1 year of rank expenses mandatory over here. Ocean One Ship Management required second officer for their oil tanker. Oil tanker expenses required over here. Timely relief they have written. So these are only 2 openings today for second officer. Let's move on to the next job opening for third officer. Let's see today's freshers job opening is there or not. So for third officer, there is an opening in Pacific Basin. They required third officer for their bulk carrier. They have not mentioned any experience over here. So if you have cleared your COC recently, so share your CV here. Then PIL, Pacific International Line, required third officer for their container vessel. Minimum 6 months with COC. They are asking experience. Then Caspia Sea Management required third officer for their oil and product tanker. Experience is not specified. So if you have sailed as a deck cadet on oil and product tanker ships, so there is an opening for you over here. Then Vigma Maritime Service Private Limited required third officer for their parcel chemical tanker ships. So if you minimum 6 month of rank experience is required on chemical tankers. So these are job opening today for third officer. There is 2 opening for freshers. So if you have cleared your COC, there is an opening, and 1 more opening is there in Anglo Eastern Ship Management. Let's move on next job opening for engine side. For engine, we'll start with our chief engineer job opening. For chief engineer, there is an opening in Normal Crewing Service Private Limited. They require chief engineer for their container ships, which is very old, 2006 built. Relevant expenses required over here. Normal crewing service required chief engineer for their type 2 chemical tanker also. VSIPs required chief engineer for their offshore vessel. Pacific International Line required chief engineer for their container vessel, minimum 6 months with COC. Rank expenses they are asking. Then Atlantis Ship Management required chief engineer for their chemical tanker vessel. They are asking 18 months of rank expense as a chief engineer on this type of ships. So these are the job opening today for chief engineers. Let's move to our next job opening. But you are asking how to apply for these. But the question is how to apply for these job openings. There is lots of opening today. So you need to go through our WhatsApp channel, click on this button, apply via email, or either you can apply via your WhatsApp also. Just go through your WhatsApp, go through our WhatsApp channel, just click on that link, find the interface like this, click on this, it will redirect to the person of belongs to Columbia or belong to V Group, belong to Atlanta Ship Management, belong to Normal Crewing Service, belong to Anglo-Eastern, and there only we have mentioned all the messages like my name is this, I am applying for this rank, I am applying for this company, and I am applying for that. And please let them know you got to know from Merchant Navy Decoded Jobs. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata Di. Let's move on next job opening for second engineers. For second engineers, there is an opening in Columbia or Ship Manager for their DP2 vessel. V Group ships required chief second engineer for their DP vessel, ASTS PSV DP vessel. Pacific International Lines required second engineer for their container vessels, minimum 6 months with COC. They are asking. Nautilus Shipping required second engineer for their coastal MBC vessel GRT 5800. So it is a small vessel. Then AZ Maritime required second engineer for their container vessel, feeder container vessel, ME engine expenses required over here. Andromeda Ownership Company required second engineer for their oil and chemical tanker ship, 12 to 18 months of rank expenses mandatory over here. Vigma Maritime Service Private Limited required second engineer for their oil and chemical tanker ship, minimum 12 to 36 months of rank expenses mandatory over here on the chemical similar type of ships. So if you have 36 months, it will be bonus for you. Arunima Marine Service required second engineer for their oil tanker ships, 30,000 GRT ship it is. Relevant expenses preferred over here. White COC only accepted here. So and AZ Maritime required second engineer for their feeder container ships. We have already told. Nimbus Marine Group required second engineer for their non-DP vessel. Minimum 720 working days is required over here. Atlantis Ship Management required second engineer for their chemical tanker. Newly built it is. Matrix will be 18 months. So if you have 18 months of sea time on chemical tanker, so there is an opening for you here on the new ship. Let's move on next job opening for third engineers. For third engineers, same as second engineer or chief engineer, there is an opening in normal crewing service. They required third engineer for their chemical tanker ships. Relevant expenses mandatory over here. Columbia or Ship Management required third engineer for their DSV diving support vessel. Then Nimbus Marine Group required third engineer for their OSV non-DP vessel. So these are the job openings for third engineer today. Apply it by today only, and please let them know you got to know from Merchant Navy Decoded Jobs. And please show support. Comment it below. What are the feedback for this video? And hit the like button, and please subscribe us by today only. Let's move to our next job opening for fourth engineers, and let's see there is an opening for fresher or not. So there is only one opening in Normal Crewing Service Private Limited. They required fourth engineer for their container vessel, which is the very old ship, 2006 built. Relevant expenses mandatory over here, so there is no opening. Let's move to our next job opening by tomorrow with the latest updates. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata Di. Follow us by today only for such updates. Till that, stay safe, stay sailing, and please say no to agent, say no to fraud, say no to SC.